Funkle's classic song, Bridge Over Troubled Water. Her latest admirer is none other than Boy George, who has specially written her latest single, which you may have heard earlier, called Strong Boy. Welcome, Hannah Jones and Boy George. It's very good to see you. Giggle, giggle.
I love these introductions.
I know they're a scream, aren't they? They always try to make them as embarrassing as possible for the guests, so that you feel totally ill at ease. But
Absolutely.
You don't. You feel fine.
No, I'm fine.
That's
fine.
good.
I'm a regular here.
So when did absolutely, when did the two of you meet up? When did it all sort of start?
Hannah's been working with the guy that I write my songs with, a guy called John Themis, and he was on TV with her. I saw it. I loved her voice. Thought, yeah, I'd like to write songs for her. So I phoned up John and just said, look, you know, let's write some songs for Hannah if she's into it, and she was. And
yeah. So what was
the rest is history.
What was your reaction when you?
Oh my
knew?
God! Reaction! I went.
That's great. When did you sort of start off? Because you've had quite a sort of checkered career. It's been quite tough for you as well, hasn't it?
Oh, I've had a hard life.
Very hard life.
It shows. I've just been around the clubs and singing pubs and with bands and whatever, just trying to learn how to sort of open my voice and go, oh, whatever.
And you do it very well indeed. Do you think do you think you have to do that? Like, you know, sort of almost serve an apprenticeship, if you like. Do you think it serves you better in later?
I'm sort of pleased I did, because also I had a family to bring up and everything like that, and it was, now they're doing their own thing.
Right.
And so now I can concentrate on moi.
So you can just, that's great. What age are your kids now?
16 and 17.
Oh, brilliant. So they're old enough to do, you know, for you not to worry about so much.
Morning, kids.
Good stuff. Did you turn down a record deal in New York? Were you not in New York and you were singing or something? I was reading somewhere that you turned it down.
Well, I just preferred to be with a smaller independent company.
Right, was this one of these great big people that have initials instead of names?
That's right, yeah.
Right.
So TMRC, the record company I'm with, is an indie company, and Peter, who's very courageous anyway, he wants to put a lot back into music. He loves music and he wants to put something back into it.
Well, that's great, because sometimes with these great big conglomerates, they're really only interested. You're like a commodity. You could be a packet of soap powder, couldn't you, really? They're just anxious to make money.
Yes,
so
just a packet of soap powder.
No, you know what I mean, but perhaps sometimes that's the way that they perceive things. You know, it's just like you're a commodity, you know, and that's it, really.
You are, in a sense, but you still have to have that human element. And I wanted that, I needed that with the independent company, so Peter.
Good. And what about you? Because you must, especially remember the late lamented Power Station, you must have been inundated with people wanting you to help them out. So what particularly about Hannah was it that you decided to work with?
Actually, I mean, I've actually written a song for the Beach Boys, and I wrote a song for Karen Wheeler, but normally people destroy your songs. Karen Wheeler did actually a brilliant version of, she made a great job of it, but very rarely do you actually get a song back and you think, yeah. I mean, Hannah is probably the first person that's done one of my songs where I've been actually really happy when I've heard it, and I thought, yeah, she's really done it justice, because when I write songs, I always write on a personal level, and sometimes it's hard to interpret that, and she's done an amazing job. I was really, really happy when I heard it.
That's good, because I would imagine for you, you would want to do your own songs. It must be quite difficult to give your song such a personal thing away to somebody else.
When you write, sometimes
He's lost my game, that's what I'm saying.
So sometimes when you write songs, you know, as a songwriter, you write songs that are kind of out of your depth, you know, vocally. I mean, I've got a limited range, and there's certain songs that you're not comfortable singing, and somebody like Hannah, she's got such a massive voice that she can almost sing anything, and it's just nice to hear one of your songs taken places where you couldn't take it, you know, places that you could only reach by Concorde. And so that's really nice, you know, and it's just, I mean, you know, I'd rather work, it's not so much that I want to work with big names, you know, I mean, obviously if Dinah Ross came along and said, I'd love to do one of your songs, but really my interest is in good voices, people that have got good voices and a bit of soul.
Great. Listen, we'll talk to you lots more. Stay with us.
Will do.
Both of you. Good, I'm glad. Stay with us. It's really great to see you both. Thanks very much indeed.
It's 8:27, you're watching TVM, and as we've said, more chat with George.
Station of the Stars. On Wednesday, meet Steve Punt and Hugh Dennis.
There they are. Welcome back. We're joined again by Boy George and Hannah Jones, club singer, of course, collaborators on Hannah's latest single. Morning to you again.
Morning.
Now, I know if I was being terribly sophisticated, I'd ignore the fact that you've got a mark on your forehead. Go on, tell us all about it, because I know you get some very strange looks when you go to buy this, because this is for women, not men, isn't it?
The little spot is a bindi spot, and that's normally worn by Indian ladies, but I like to be cheeky.
That's right. That's very
and the white thing is called a tilak, which is like an Indian symbol.
And do you know what it's a symbol for?
Yeah, it just basically means that it symbolises that you believe in God.
I see. Well, it's marvellous and you look great, as of course does Hannah in this video that we've had a chance to see earlier on. I believe we'll have a chance to see a little bit more of it in a second. Did you enjoy making this?
I loved it. It was brilliant. Yeah, everyone was the crew were brilliant. We were laughing and.
There were
Yeah,
some
you
quite
turned
cute ones,
up,
weren't there?
They were actually.
Yes. We saw a number of very nice boys in cut-off jeans in the background we spotted earlier on. It's a good job you didn't let him collaborate with you on the video, because he got his last video banned. How did that come about, George?
I think there's just sort of a lot of regulations about what you can and cannot do in a video, you know, and I think that, in fact, that kind of medium is becoming more and more restricted, you know, because there's only a few places you can actually show a video. And obviously a lot of them, you know, I mean, early in the morning, they're not going to show something too strong. Chart show normally stick to a really kind of, you know, they're quite strict as well. They don't, you know, so it's very difficult. So obviously you make a video. In fact, the record company, the people that banned it, they actually went mad when they saw it, and they said, this is going to represent you in a bad light. And I actually thought it was the best video ever made.
Which is a great pity that we never got a chance to see it.
Yeah, I'll send you a copy, though.
Thank you very much. Because the Madonnas of this world get away with an enormous amount, don't they?
Yeah, I think that if you're big, I mean, if you're a big star, then you can do what you want. You know, I mean, George Michael smokes in his videos, whereas other people get told they can't do that. You know, so I think there is obviously if you're making a lot of money for certain people, then you can get away with what you like. You know, it's always one rule for them and one rule for the others. You know, it's a shame actually.
Absolutely. Well, for those people who didn't get a chance to see this video that you've both worked on, the song you've both worked on, let's have a little look at it now. Oh, what a voice, Hannah. And the thing about that, we have to let the secret out. It looks as if it's some fabulous exotic location. It's Vauxhall, South London.
Well, that can be, obviously that can be very exotic.
And so use your imagination. You have to really use your imagination about Vauxhall, South London. And it took you back as well, because you filmed the old Culture Club.
Well, the last
videos
Culture Club video that we did, Move Away, the aptly titled Move Away, we did there, and I remember taking a huge vase and throwing it out the window at one of the band. So it was quite funny going back there.
I wouldn't say you're temperamental at all.
Memories, it was quite funny. It was a kind of deja vu, yeah.
You say all your memories. At the moment, you're writing an autobiography, or at least it's just about to come out.
Well, no, it's not about to come out. It was meant to come out, but it's kind of taking a bit longer than it.
The lawyers got their hands on it, have they now?
It's more laughable than libelous. I guess there'll be a few upset people, but that's life.
It's interesting that when you go through all your past experiences, and obviously it's been very well documented, the difficulties that you've had, drug addiction, difficulties generally with the press and so on. Some people say when they write it down that it's cathartic, it makes them feel a lot better, and others that it takes them through it all and makes them suffer it all over again. How did you feel?
Well, you do get physical reactions when you're writing a book. I mean, I think it depends on how sensitive you are, you know. I mean, obviously, if there's things that you haven't dealt with, because, I mean, as well as writing things about other people, I'm writing about myself, and I'm finding out a lot of stuff about myself which I particularly don't want to hear, you know. So, obviously, on that level, you are experiencing, you know, you don't really want to be critical about yourself, and it is always uncomfortable. So you get to certain bits where you think, when you're writing about how arrogant you were and how demanding and selfish, that can be difficult, but it's very healthy because you're getting it out, you know. I mean, psychiatrists always tell you to write down, if you have a problem, to write down on a piece of paper, and it always looks more feasible on paper. It was kind of easy to work out. So it is a bit like an exorcism of sorts.
Well, at least we're going to have the truth, the whole truth and nothing but the truth, aren't we? And the dirt is what we like to hear.
Who did it with who and when and why? For how long?
Can't wait.
Please, I didn't know you then.
You know, he's a very discreet friend to have. Hannah, the very best of luck with
Thanks.
Strong Boy.
Thank
I'm
you.
sure it's going to do superbly well. It's marvellous. And we'll look forward to
Thanks for
reading all
having
the
us,
all the filth.
We certainly will. And I have to say hello to Dottie Stevenson, don't I? Hello, Dottie. How are you doing? You're a friend of your man, friend George.
Friend in Stevenage.
Right.
Morning.
Hello, Dottie from Stevenage. Good to see you. I hope you're watching. Now, if you're a Michael Jackson fan,